What's going on, people? TK coming at you. Just want to talk to you guys today about the society, if I can get it out, and the scale in which our society is disproportionately laid out. Now, honestly, a lot of people really don't give a damn and are clueless, but they can feel the vice grips of this disproportion. In other words, our whole society is skewed and unequally laid out with distribution that's concentrated. So we have an unequal distribution scale that's concentrated within a small group of people. Whether you call them the 1%, but the cream always rises to the top, and the primary problem we have is that our society has unequal access and engineered scarcity. The system isn't broken, it was designed that way. It was designed where the majority of access, wealth, power, and currency is funneled to the top. It's a siphoning system that's designed to ensure that the base of the triangle supports the top of the triangle. So someone is continuously standing on your neck to ensure that they have the life of opulence, because it's engineered to siphon money and steal and manipulate and control and enslave everyone else. So our system is propped up by a printing system that creates interest on financialized instruments. So if I create an instrument and then I charge you interest on that instrument that I created, you will never be above the curve because I'm constantly adding to the VIC. For those people who gamble. So think about this in terms of layman's. Think about it as a corner bakery. You own a corner bakery, you own a small mom and pop shop, and that business is constantly in the red. That business is 1,000% negative in relation to how much money you bring in. You have that much more debt, and your debt keeps stair-steppingly growing above and beyond the income that you bring in. So let's say this quarter you only brought in $100, but your debt for this quarter is $700. And the next quarter your debt goes to $1,400. But yet you still only bring in, say, $700 in income. And this continues to happen. Now multiply that and increase the scale to the entire economy. And then you begin, or you should begin, to understand the nature of the game that's being played against the debt slaves within America and within the world. Because the entire world is existing within this debt slavery system. And guess what? It keeps growing. We are at $700 trillion in debt. The debt bubbles are on the verge of collapsing. Okay, so when you say that, it doesn't mean anything. Everybody knows that they're living off of money created out of thin air. Everyone knows that they're not living off of true assets. And no one really gives a damn. You only care about television. You don't give a fuck about debt. You just want access. So you're willing to use debt to create access, and you don't care about the fact that you're going to default on it or that you can't afford to pay it back. It doesn't matter to you. Because Americans and people across the world are living in a debt bubble. So mathematically, debt cannot continuously rise when you have no income and be sustained. And that's the part that people refuse to accept. They believe that this system is sustainable. And mathematically, it's impossible to sustain the system when you're bringing in, or you're creating more debt than what you're bringing in. in terms of income. That is what's known as a bubble, and it's mathematically impossible to prop up a bubble forever. At some point in time, the scales tip and you face the music. You have to face the music at some point. So in the economy, people feel like we're never going to face the music because we can always create more debt. So our debt has exponentially risen for the past 10 years. And everyone thinks that there's no repercussions to QE to infinity, to quantitative easing, where money is bolstered. You know, think about it as a balloon. You have a nice little round balloon and you feel like, well, there's too much people, we need more space. So you just increase the balloon. At some point, the elasticity of the balloon material stretches to the point where it can no longer sustain the amount of air that you're putting into the bubble. And that's when physics, nature takes over and the bubble pops. But the arrogance of man and the ignorance of sheep says that there will never be repercussions to endless debt creation. And the economy right now is in an endless debt creation cycle so that it maintains its appearance of comfort. And as long as the people, the sheeple, feel comfortable, they're happy. I don't care about who doesn't have access in an engineer scarcity limited access situation. As long as I can swipe my card, who cares who doesn't eat? So we're in a dire situation where we can't seem to educate the primary principles that creates the negative situation that we're right around the corner from feeling. Because people hold to ignorance and they don't give a fuck about solutions. These are not conversations that people want to have because it's not comfortable. And comfort doesn't take personal responsibility to create a future. Comfort sets you up. And comfort allows you to be victimized. So I'm having the conversation for the people who can still critically think and are capable of somehow preparing and excluding themselves from this debt bubble before it collapses. You have to take personal responsibility for your actions and create some sort of financial insurance that hedges against inflation, allows your future to exist, so that whether we're in an upturn or a downturn market, you can still economically participate. And that should be your primary concern right now because of the nature of the exponential debt growth. That's completely unsustainable, completely illusionary, and very much a farce. If you put all your eggs in one basket, when that basket breaks, you can't cry about the fact that now you have no eggs to cook and you don't know how you're going to eat. You have to do something to diversify your assets and to participate in asset classes that are higher than paper derivatives. If you don't have a net worth based on asset classes outside of paper, then you're setting yourself up for failure. If your primary portfolio management is centered around debt, then you're setting yourself up for failure. If everything that you're doing is based on a governmental promise and you don't have any tangibles, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And me having these conversations, oh my God, it's like I'm talking to myself. Where are the true fundamentalists? Where are the people capable of creating change and stimulating unity amongst this movement? Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to care.